For years, Star Wars fans have wondered whether Luke Skywalker would ever settle down and start a family. Given that his father, Anakin Skywalker, had a secret marriage, some assumed that Jedi could have relationships. The early stories in the Star Wars expanded universe even portrayed Jedi getting married, especially in the ancient past and after Return of the Jedi. But things changed drastically with Attack of the Clones, which introduced the rule that Jedi were forbidden to marry due to their commitment to non-attachment. While that seemed like a definitive answer, George Lucas actually gave a different response back in 1997. During an interview with Youth TV, Lucas was asked if Luke Skywalker would ever get married. His response was surprisingly open-ended. He first joked that Luke wasn't even born yet in the upcoming Star Wars prequels, but when pressed about a possible marriage in a sequel trilogy, he said, "I don't know. I'm not sure which kind of characters will be in the sequels. Nothing definitive. We'll have to wait and see." At the time, Lucas was focused on The Phantom Menace and hadn't yet solidified the idea that Jedi must follow strict rules against attachment. So, in that moment, he didn't completely rule out Luke having a wife in future Star Wars stories. However, Lucas' stance seemed to shift by 2008. In an interview with Total Film, he made it clear that he didn't consider the Star Wars novels canon, and stated outright that Luke wouldn't get married in his vision of the saga. He described the story of Star Wars as the tragedy of Darth Vader, and once Vader died, he didn't see a reason for Luke to get married or for the Emperor to return. Despite this, Lucas later developed his own sequel trilogy ideas before selling Star Wars to Disney, leaving open the possibility that his stance could have softened over time. In the old Star Wars expanded universe now called Legends, Luke actually did get married. In Timothy Zahn's Heir to the Empire, he met Mara Jade, a former assassin who once worked for Emperor Palpatine. At first, Mara was determined to kill Luke, blaming him for ruining her life, but they eventually became allies and later fell in love. By the time of the Hand of Thrawn duology, Luke proposed to Mara, and in the 1999 comic Star Wars Union, the two were married. They even had a son named Ben Skywalker. Unlike the old Jedi Order, Luke didn't believe marriage was incompatible with being a Jedi, and he continued to train new students while being a husband and father. While Lucas didn't consider the expanded universe to be his official canon, he still had to approve major character developments like Luke's marriage. This suggests that while he may not have personally planned for Luke to have a wife, he wasn't completely opposed to the idea in the broader Star Wars universe. When Disney took over Star Wars in 2014, they declared the expanded universe non-canon and reset the timeline, making Jedi rules more consistent with what was established in Attack of the Clones. There's no sign that Luke ever got married in Disney's Star Wars canon. His only confirmed romantic relationship was with Cammy Marstrap in a deleted scene from A New Hope, but this was never revisited in later films. In The Last Jedi novelization, Luke does express doubts about the old Jedi rule against attachments, but in practice he seems to have followed their traditions. Despite this, Luke never prevented Leia from becoming a Jedi even though she was married to Han Solo and had a son. This suggests that while he respected the old Jedi ways, he wasn't necessarily as strict about them as the previous Jedi Order. With the upcoming new Jedi Order movie focusing on Rey's future, it remains to be seen whether Lucas' old ideas or Disney's canon will allow Jedi to marry again. If Rey builds a new Jedi Order, perhaps she will change the rules regardless of whether Luke or George Lucas would approve.